Jump into game number 1 of a fresh best of 3, and this is a fun one. These two keep on playing some good matches. It keeps ending in favor of this man in the bottom right. Your world champion of StarCraft 2 is Team Liquid's Clem. In the top left, Blue Protoss is going to be Genji's Trap. And he keeps on putting up really good fights against Clem, just he can't quite put the finishing touches to it a lot of the time. So, kind of hoping to today. I mean, there has definitely been times where Clem just kind of sweeps the floor with Trap as well. Kind of hoping that today is one of those days where it's a very good fight back from Trap. He had a good series, hoping to see at least one game kind of reach the 20-minute marker or thereabouts. I think it would be a lot of fun as well. I think that would be really, really cool. As we get into the opening game. Oceanborn our map as well. I wonder if Oceanborn is going to be one of the maps that survives. In terms of the map pool, I'm kind of thinking if they do bring the 6 new maps in from the PTR, which 3 maps from the current map pool live on. I think I would like to see, what would I like to see live on? Site Delta, Oceanborn, both good solid maps. Kind of boring choices, but I feel like the new maps are a little bit interesting anyway, so maybe it's not bad to have boring choices from the current map pool. I'd actually like to see Amphion live on as well. I think that map's interesting and fun. I think that'd be a good map to keep in the map pool as well, to be honest. As the probes get across, the engineering bay cancels. The engineering bay block is successful. As we just have ourselves a Nexus and Cybercore continuing to come around. So, getting set up over there. Again, factory coming up, that'll finish in a few moments. SCV and the reactor coming in as well. Continue to get this on the way as our command center finishes up in the main base. We are going to drop a pylon aggressively here from Trap. Okay, Trap, what are we planning? What are we going to do with a pylon right there? That is, yeah, very aggressively placed pylon. Stargate, just super close to the base? No, just a gateway, okay. Just straight up some gateway pressure from Trap here early. Wants to try and get in. Get some damage done and put Clem into a troubling position in the early stages. Do you see a couple of Marines coming up out, the starport coming through, the refinery is building up as well. Do you have the Adept is just going to shade its way in toward the main base. Oh, and there's the extra gate as well. No surprise if one is proxy to see 3 gates in total. Gateway pressure doesn't usually come off of 2 gateways. Unless it's super early gateway pressure. 3 gateways is a much more kind of standard amount for this, so the 3 gateways of pressure coming in. There's a couple probes, the Stalker and the Warp Gate, all building that Warp Gate, eating some Chrono Boosts right now. As our Medevac and Marines continue out, the Wooden Mine will pop from the factory in a few moments as well. All of that continues for the moment, so we continue to bring into all of this. Marine's going to unload, and that pylon going to start to take a few shots. So the pylon taking some damage, a little bit of damage being dealt. That's a huge disappointment for Trap as that Medevac finds the gateway. That's going to be rough because now you've invested into trying to deal damage there, and your damage is going to involve basically being depowered. Like, that is just not what you're looking for, unfortunately. So that's not ideal. As we have the rest of this continuing to come over. The gateway itself dies, so it's not even just like you lose the pylon and the warping potential. You lose more than that, which is even crazier, really. That is rough, as Marine's going to come up, and with the wall up here, it should be a pretty easy defense. I don't think this is quite going to be the super exciting start of the series we were looking for. Clem completely shuts down Trap's idea of aggression. Trap now going to try and go to the Twilight Council. The thing is as well, though, like, you lose a gate early, so you build 3 gates to apply pressure. Not only do you not really apply that pressure, but you also just, you know, lose out on a gateway that you'd already invested into. So that's money down the drain again. So that is brutal as our Dog Shrine comes up. And you get that on the way through. The gateway and the Blink continuing to produce. Now Siege Tank and Marines are coming up as well here on the side of Clem, so we get all of that producing for now. The Raven's still coming across the map as well, so that's going to be coming to the upper left. See if that can do anything as it gets in toward the main base the next few moments. This medevac will be boosting over the left-hand side. So that medevac goes on a bit of a boost. Again, Dark Shrine, Robo Facility coming up. The Blink still coming into play. The couple of probes are on the way out as well. As that auto turret is going to get a couple of workers. So 2 workers go down immediately. The Stalkers get there. Raven still sits to the top side as the Dark Shrine is about to finish. Again, Robo Facility coming through. The battery coming online. And a couple more DTs to warp in on the side of Trap. So those DTs will warp in as we speak. Get those all going. The Marines are going to step forward. Stalkers have to step away. There's going to be a scary push. Auto turret is going to not get much done, but that means Stalkers are being kept in the main base as well. That alone, there's a little bit of a victory at the moment. Against Impact, +1 attack. All coming by here as those tanks are going to fire. They get rid of a Stalker. The DTs are going to show up. I mean, these DTs need to do work. This was a big investment from Trap, and it is going to catch Clem without missile turrets, and there's a DT here as well, so you only have so many scans. You can only scan in so many places. Scans the main base. That DT will go down. The DT on the natural is still swiping through workers. The Stalkers and the DT here are chasing Clem's army away. Tanks are going to have to siege up there in the middle of the map. We do get a scan, cleans up the DT, but only a handful of Marines getting back home there. Obviously, the tanks survive as well. No scan available right now. The DT from the base going to come over. It's going to go for some kills as well. It's going to easily be able to get that tank that's hurt. We should have swiped that one first, because now the medevac show up to play cleanup, and then we actually do have a tank surviving that didn't really have any right to survive with the way things were going. DT is going to get involved again. Stalker's actually going to be able to target fire down the tank, so we get that tank in the end anyway. The DT provided high ground vision. Now the scan to remove it. The Raven comes back home, realizing that this Raven is going to be important because of all the information or all of the detection it can provide. And Trap is back in this game. The DT's put in work, and they are able to do enough for Trap here in game number 1. Medevacs continue up to the top. Again, charge on the way. The Immortal and 5 additional gateways coming through. The DT continues to swipe through. A couple of additional SCVs. 3 workers go down. A Marine and a couple of Marauders go chasing that Prism a little bit as well. The medevacs will boost into the main base. Combat shields, concussive shells, all building as the bio units will unload. Jump straight onto this battery. A few adepts, a few zealots warp in as well, as they're going to try and go toward the Marines and Marauders. Additional gateways now morphing in and online. 5 probes have already dropped. The medevacs will load up. They're going to boost elsewhere, trying to get away for the moment as we drop back down. On this right-hand side, Stalker's actually going to blink through. They're going to get rid of a couple of medevacs immediately, so they get dropped. So as medevacs fall, now we're going to have the Forge Chrono boosting up a +1 attack upgrade. Immortal and the Archon on the way in as well. Combat shield not far from being done. Units gathered on the front of that natural. We do see a Nexus being built on the 4th base. The 4th Nexus will come into play as well. We get that started up here. Get that settled to go as the Archon and additional Zealots continue to produce gateways. All set up across the board. Trap making this a game out of something that was definitely not a game initially as well. +1 attack, Nexus, probes, batteries all building up. Clem can try and come around the right-hand side. Stalkers going to take a bit of a beating there immediately as the bio stems up. A couple tanks get siege pylons going down as the Zealots will charge in. Actually going to send this, and a couple Widow Mine shots start to go off. Widow Mines hitting a lot of those Zealots. Siege tanks in the front will go down as well. Trap is going to be able to push this back. How much can we get done? Here's my issue for Trap, I think, is that he's playing an army right now that's very sturdy on the ground, but it doesn't really involve a lot of splash. I feel like he's going to need that splash in the future. Right now, this is working. He's kind of playing brute force of bio with brute force of Protoss, but that doesn't usually last forever. Right now, he continues across the map, though. Trap is chasing this force down. Maybe this is still okay for him. He's going to warp in Zelty. He did build a Robo Bay behind this, so that kind of answers some of my questions of, I think we need some splash damage, otherwise we're in trouble. Trap is able to push all the way back down the other side of the map. Forge building, +1 armor coming through. And he goes to Academy coming up as our Solid Stalker. Again, toward this mineral line. Orbital Command going to begin to take some damage as a little bit more bio will stim. There's a few more Stalkers warping in. The sentries as well. Widow Mines. And crashing into some Zealots, but Trap here is looking very, very decent. I want to say good. I'm a little bit afraid to commit to the words because I feel like Clem's almost about to just pull off a defense, but it maybe isn't happening. We need to warp in right now. We need to be careful of that Prism too. He needs around his Zealots, and he needs the Zealots here, and he needs the Prism not to die to the Marines. That's exactly what we're scared of, because now you're going to lose micro potential, but by targeting the Prism, the other units didn't go down, and so Clem is going to be in trouble still. 2 Immortals, a bunch of Stalkers. How much can we do? We're going to start targeting down Medivacs there for a moment or so. Widow Mine shot dodged by the blink as Trap kills 15 workers as Clem's face lifted into the skies. On his way to Colossus behind this. Turns around for another Marauder. Good job there. I think Trap is on his way to turning this game completely into his favor. What a wild scenario, because it really was the DTs that saved him at first. Such a Trap game, by the way. If you guys have been watching this stream the last few weeks, every time, maybe not every time, but a lot of the times I talk about Trap, I talk about how I'm amazed that he's a player that seems to struggle early, but is so much better later in the game, and usually it's not that way around when people return from the military. Usually they can figure out the early game, but man, they just struggle mechanically. Trap is the opposite. He struggles to get going early, he gets into bad spots, and yet he plays so many good games from there. Incredible stuff, as right now Trap leads this game just about. Like, it's close is the problem, and obviously Clem can start dropping. I think the only thing that's going to make this more of a Trap game is that he's going to end up losing it anyways after making it an epic display, because that's exactly how Trap Clem games go a lot of the time. I think we might be heading towards something akin to that as the Medivac comes up the left side. The 2-2 upgrades coming through, extended thermal lance coming in. Oh, the Stalker's going to say nuh-uh to that Medivac though, so that's a great denial immediately. One less thing for Trap to worry about. Damn. What a move right there. Orbital Command going to float out to the 6 o'clock. Shadow Strike coming up, +2/+2 coming in. 5 more Zealots coming in. The next is about to finish. Bio Army will go out to the center as we do have the Army of Trap coming over to that right-hand side. Ghosts. Thinking about what they would like to do is a couple of Widow Mines just going to be taking damage. Vikings about to complete the Colossus firing away. Widow Mine that's going to hit the Colossus. That's actually a lot of shields gone on that, and now the Zealots are going to eat some mine shots as well, maybe. Clem just doesn't have an army to really deal with the Colossus. I mentioned that transition into some splash damage was maybe necessary for Trap. He might have actually been able to keep going without the splash damage in the end because of the way the fight ended up going for him, but actually is looking as though it's going to be okay. Zealots are chasing, Stalker, Colossus continuing to come by. But the Widow Mine shot there is going to hit the Stalker as we are going to jump onto the Orbital Command. And Clem will say GG. Trap completes the comeback in this game. Trap takes game 1 of the best of 3 as we are going to... it's pretty underwhelming. He just struggled. He tried to...
And he died, right?
Yeah, he just tried to expand and he died. Yeah,
yes,
pretty much.
That's the way we like it.
Like, I don't think he died like super quick though, but like it was just... It just wasn't good. Yeah.
I'm down with it, Wardy.
You're down with it?
Dude, this first game was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, Trap was dead, right? Like, the start was horrible. He didn't get his gateway pressure off, and he was just in a bad place. And then the DTs kind of bring the game back. I didn't really think the DTs did enough to, like, make it so that Trap was winning. I just felt like he was able to play the game again. But then he ended up just able to take some really good fights, like Immortal Archon trading extremely well against just that Bio Army that just wasn't strong enough. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Are you surprised that... you know, that Clem struggled this much?
I mean, Trap constantly makes life difficult for Clem. I was just saying that usually Trap has... This was a very Trap game, apart from the fact he actually won this time. Like, usually against Clem, he struggles early game, makes some kind of crazy mid to late game sort of scene, and actually makes it competitive, but then Clem wins out anyway. This time, he actually won. So,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised because I've seen them play games like this before. So, at some point, it had to go Trap's way, because he keeps getting in good positions later. I don't know why he struggles so much early game. He's really bad early in the game. He always plays from behind.
Should I message him some build orders? I'm the opposite. I get far ahead in the early game, and then I struggle once we have to control more than 3 units.
You guys should team up.
We should team up. I give him my brain. He gives me his. That's a trade I would take. Idiot. What a moron. Why would he do that? Terrible trade. Oh no, you got the early game brain. He thought we were going to combine, but we just handed them over. Oh! I think he's going to play the Imba build.
The Imba build? What's the Imba build?
Clem named it the Imba build, so you know it's seriously overpowered. It is the Marine reactor into factory.
Yeah.
Cyclone Marine, you put the second Marine and the second Cyclone into the medevac, you push it across the map, and then you win the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes you right-click the battery, sometimes you send 8 Marines into the main to kill 5 workers. It doesn't really matter what you do, the outcome is always positive for Terran.
Yeah. I for some reason I thought you were talking about the Trap build. I was like, I actually don't know what Pro's build is Imba. And then you said Clem named it Imba. I was like, oh man, it must be really good.
Ah.
But no.
Yeah, no.
The Terran
no
Imba build.
exists.
Yeah, the Cyclone Marine kill the Protoss build. It's very
You know
good.
what is interesting, by the way, post-patch? Because the Stalker only takes 27 seconds. Is it playing Nexus before Core, and then Stalker is a viable playstyle?
Oh.
Because you're fast against the Reaper. So your early game eco is very good. I hadn't even considered this, and then I think I think I read it in a Reddit thread or something like that. I was like, oh my god. Heroes is building Adepts while playing Nexus before Core. I hadn't even considered it. It's some dude on Reddit. And the best part was that it might have been TL or Reddit or a Twitch chat, and then some other guy jumped on him. And I was like, no, that's wrong. You can't do that. It's unsafe.
Classic Reddit.
I can't remember where it was. It might have been a Twitch chat. Either way, it doesn't matter. All the same, yeah. The point stands is that is now viable. And I can't wait to see it. But for now, yeah, we're going to see the Imba build. I think this is supposed to hit with 11 Marines. And this hits like an actual truck as well.
Yep, this is going to be a tough one for Trap to hold. What do you think the best case of trying to hold this is? Like, what do you do to kind of have a chance against this? Or is it just always that bad?
If you don't have a battery, that's bad. Having a battery in the main is quite nice because it stops the threat in the main base, you know, a little bit easier. Ideally, you meet it out in the middle. You get a couple of shots in on the units before the medevac arrive. So this is actually quite neat here for Trap. Trap's going to be very happy with this. Lots of damage here on this Cyclone. It's going to make it harder for Clem to push straight up. I think what Clem should be doing here is just probably heading into the main with a bunch of Marines. I'd be shocked if he goes for the front. This is the worst case scenario for Clem now.
Yep, Cyclone Hurting going to be an easy target if those Stalkers can get toward it. And Clem already backing it up. He's going to go toward the main, but now the medevac's hurting as well. He goes left, he goes right, figuring out where to go to. That's the blink. It's going to finish in a moment. A couple of assimilators coming up. Raven and a siege tank at home from Clem as he prepares the next stage of this. And yeah, he's just going to fully pull back apart from the medevac and Marines, which he will hope can do something at some stage. But yeah, not just yet. The Stalkers have blink, and they're going to get a couple more Marines as well. Maybe even a couple of units here. Got the SCV building the bunker, but the tank is on the high ground, and it's going to go for the Stalker.
Yeah. I mean, this Marine drop really has no business being on this side of the map, especially with such a damaged medevac as well. Like a 3-Stalker blink on top of this or nearby, it could potentially clear it. Clem needs to be extremely fast here. He isn't fast enough. Gonna lose all these Marines. That's 10 supply here that he throws away. Needs to get the cancel on the Nexus at least. That was about 30, 40 seconds in, minus 100 minerals. A little bit of mining time lost as well, right? Because now you're going to be oversaturating your natural. Luckily for Trap, he went for 4 gas and a Robo Bay. So we're going to see a fast Colossus.
Yeah, Colossus is going to be coming up quickly here. Trap going to try and stabilize with some actual splash damage. Very different to the last game where it was very just kind of baseline tech units for a little bit. The Immortal, the Archon. Just kind of bulky units, but not, again, as much splash. So very different routing here as we do get the obs to the side, and yeah, that third Nexus coming online from Trap right now after successfully defending the Imba build. He's going to keep on map controlling with those Stalkers as well.
Yeah, honestly, very, very good start. Like, not just for Trap, but in general, it's just like a good start. Like, anyone would have loved this position. Clem's going to be building 2 tanks. Now, there is a nasty pushing location near the rocks here on Ghost River. I feel like Protoss players don't take these out quick enough. I really feel like if you have some units led over, even if it's like 2 sentries or a zealot, you should be spanking those rocks with them the entire time. And they're not going to go down in time, but at least they're going to go down a little bit. Maybe if you get like 4 or 5 zealots, you could take them out, but yeah, it's really rough if they're still there.
Well, we'll recall the Stalkers back into the main base as the Raven is looking to potentially open up some harassment. Clem's finally reaching his stim pack and obviously other upgrades as well, so his bioplay in general is about to reach a whole new level of power, and that's going to be something he can maybe try and capitalize on. If he wants to get across the map, we'll see very soon. He is starting to make a move out, but he also is likely just going to want to clear up the 3rd base position to put that CC down as well.
Yeah, we have a 4th base coming in for Trap before Clem even has his own 3rd base done. This is pretty standard nowadays, especially with these Colossus build. You can get it really quickly. He's on 6 gates behind this, from what I can see. 4 gases. I mean, Trap is basically in the mid game already, with at least 1 foot into the mid game. The only problem is that Clem might want to take out this 4th base, and if Clem succeeds at that, he's going to be back into it.
Gonna aim right around the bottom side. Yeah, the 4th base is a prime target for him. Gonna be a question of can he deal with the Colossus. The tanks are okay against Colossus a lot of the time as the first few Zealots run in. Colossus already starting to get some laser beams off onto the Marines, so their numbers get reduced. As Clem makes his play to that left-hand side, Trap figures out how he wants to position here, sends a few Zealots off to the edge. And he's going to keep the Colossus and the Stalkers here as the tanks edge forward, and Clem tries to take position. As he say, this 4th would be a great target for Clem. He's going to have Zealots coming across the map toward him, but he has put himself where he needs to be on this Nexus. A couple hallucinations trying to set off the Widow Mines. He's going to drag them on top of the Marauders. That's some good splash to start off with. Now the 3 Colossus are able to come through and start fighting as well. And he's going to be able to come straight into this. The Colossus continue to do very well. The tank will go down. And Trap is going to save this base, and he's going to win the fight.
Yeah, absolutely destroying Clem in the process. At the same time, the Zealot run-by across the map got 7 worker kills. I thought that Zealot run-by was actually going to cost him quite a bit, but once he detonated both of these mines, Clem not paying attention there, not in time with the unburrow. Yeah, honestly, brilliant position here for Trap. He's up a base. He's going to be capable of saturating it pretty shortly. Has a prism across the map, sadly, that's going to go down against the 2 Cyclones and the 2 Vikings. I don't think Trap can just walk across the map and win the game, but I also think that Clem needs to be really careful, because he's 1 bad fight away from just straight up dying.
Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble. The Colossus here will regather, and they are still going to be an issue, but at least the Viking count is growing. Medevac's just loaded up and went up top, and that's going to be one thing for Trap to try and stay on top of. Don't let Clem drop his way back into a winning position. Don't let him undo the good that you've done in some of these engagements so far. It can happen so easily when those drops start going off, so something to watch for. As, yeah, a couple Marines going to spread, and DT just going to be pulling back, apparently. See if the DTs can start having an impact on this game.
I mean, there's no turrets, is there? None in the main? Or like 1 in the main? No, not even on the edge. There's legit 0. If these DTs just run in, yeah, I think Clem is dead.
Yeah, if he just sends it and just forces scans everywhere, Clem doesn't have units really back everywhere as well. Just use the scan in the middle of the map as well.
Oh. I mean, he doesn't have a single scan available right now, does he?
No, I don't think so. DTs are in.
He's gonna lose like 15 workers.
Yeah, 15 workers, and he's losing units in the middle of the map as well, so this is looking fantastic here for Trap, as SCVs will just be dropping. There's a couple of ghosts available, perhaps. Maybe that can help. DT actually kills a couple of Widow Mines on the 3rd base. Funny way to play cleanup, as we are going to get the units on the top side too, so Trap is going to shut down Clem on the top, and he is going to play the complete cleanup on the 12 o'clock position. Trap are looking absolutely great in this game number 2, man.
Yeah. Trap is extremely far ahead. We have 1 DT still active in the main base. I don't think Clem is aware of that. Should be capable of cleaning it up, but it's going to cost him 4 or 5 more workers and quite a bit of mining time as well. At the same time, Trap is moving in forward with a lot of Stalkers. Vikings will be capable of pushing away these Colossus, but is the Bio Ball big enough to deal with the gate units? For now, the answer is going to be yes. Of course, Trap needs to be careful because yes, he has a very high supply, but a lot of that is going to be in workers as well. So the army supplies are relatively close. He has 2-2 on the way. He's adding in more gateways. There's no reason for him to commit to a real fight. If he can pick off units, that's great. But probably a real fight is the only thing that Clem can do to win this game. Try to, take a very, very convincing battle and then counterattack, because trying to macro out of this with, 53 workers? Good luck, my dear friend, but it's gonna be rough.
Yep, time is on Trap's side. This game develops better and better for him as time goes by. I'm going to try and target a couple of Stalkers here. Initially, there's like one medevac, so you can't even lift up as an escape for this. EMP goes down. The Colossus now a little bit exposed. Vikings are still there, but it does not matter because Trap just has the numbers. He knocks Clem out in the round